Good morning from Silicon Valley. This is Marco Marinucci, CEO of Mind the Bridge. Today we're going to have a Mind the Chat on different topics. We're going to talk about the Expo 2020-2021, and we have the pleasure to have with us Tala Al Ansari, the Director of Innovation Ecosystems and Scale to Dubai at the Expo 2020. Hi, Tala.
Hi, Marco.
Good to have you, and we're very excited to talk about a topic that is slightly different from our typical open innovation conversation we're going to have. This is obviously in the framework of our Scale Up Summit in the MENA region, and we thought that talking about the Expo, the plans of the Expo, the interaction between companies, startups, and the focus of innovation could be definitely something of interest, considering that the plan is unfolding as we speak and will go on for the next few months. So great to have you here. Thanks for making time. Tala, why don't we start first about your role at the Expo and maybe what took you there?
Sure. So when I first started at Expo, I was part of the team who was signing on the countries that will be participating at the Expo, or as you call it in the US, the World Fair. But I then became part of a department which manages what we call the legacy of Expo 2020, what happens to the area after the Expo's over. So I'm the director of District 2020's Innovation Ecosystem and its Global Entrepreneur Program Scale to Dubai. So we will first start at Expo by hosting the world for 6 months. And then once the event is over, we will repurpose 80% of the assets at that site to create an innovation ecosystem and mixed-use development area in Dubai known as District 2020. My role primarily is to attract the right partners as I curate for this innovation ecosystem. Both from leading the strategy of the innovation ecosystem as well as its implementation. And part of that ecosystem strategy is to really also attract startups through our global entrepreneur program, Scale to Dubai.
Great. So we're going to talk about that. And I think also your website is full of information and rendering. So it's something that is very visual. Before we go there, let's talk about Expo 2020, and obviously that was planned for last year and has to be reformatted and reorganized. So where are we in the planning phase? And tell us the latest in terms of the starting date and the fact that if some of that also turn into digital format.
Sure. So we're still committed to host the world in Dubai at Expo 2020 for 6 months. Our theme is still connecting minds, creating the future, which is all about bringing the world together to collaborate and address the world's challenges and really create a better future for the next generations. World Expos have always been about celebrating human ingenuity, and we will have many countries from all over the world who will bring their innovations and visions and showcase it at the Expo in Dubai. We're really excited because this is the first World Expo to happen in the Miasa region. We've actually already had a little bit of a teaser for the public. So we've already opened up one big pavilion we have that focuses on sustainability in Dubai. We had received an amazing response from the public. Tickets were sold out. We had people book online. They came to visit the pavilion. And we're very excited now to, get closer to the time where we'll be hosting everybody in Dubai.
It's funny because in a previous life, I was part of the teams organizing expos around the world for a good 15 years. So I know the excitement that goes into it. Everything obviously is never as ready as it should be, but things turn out perfectly. In your case, actually was a disaster having to replan it for months and months later. Maybe that gave you maybe a little bit more time to go through and reassess some of the plans that you had in the first place. How much of the disruption was this?
To be honest with you, I think we had chosen the right theme from the start. So connecting minds, creating the future, we realize is even more relevant today than it was back in the time when we chose the theme. So that's one point basically. And I think we're really working together with our stakeholders hand in hand to make sure that we deliver on the plans and our commitments. And so I think what we saw with the opening of the Sustainability Pavilion in Dubai as a teaser and the public receptiveness to all of that really gave us a lot of confidence and made me really excited, that we're getting close to hosting the world.
And people are looking forward to going back to travel again and visit. What are your expectations in terms of the size of the expo as it is? And maybe we can actually talk about the physical size also, because that's relevant also for the post expo.
So the site is 4.38 square kilometers, and for the visual, viewers to visualize that, that's around 160 football fields put together. So it's a huge site and location. It's actually like a small city within the city of Dubai. So that's in terms of the size of the space. And I think in terms of our plans, to be honest with you, things are looking quite exciting. The UAE already has around 55% of its population vaccinated, which happened in such a short period of time. So I think the public is, the community is really helping us get ready to host the world. Dubai just had a Gulf food event happening this week. I saw pictures of that online yesterday, and I think there's a lot of confidence in coming back to event time, and I encourage you all to look into, the Gulf food events just to get a flavor of how things are getting back to normal in Dubai.
Yeah, it's great to hear. You guys are one of the first countries by design that is going through mass vaccinations. So let's start talking about the future. So District 2020, as it was envisioned, and in particular with the subset of the Scale to Dubai. So give us some definitions of what you include in those projects.
Sure. So District 2020 is the legacy which will take place after the Expo project. And ever since we started as an organization in Expo, we always had two missions that we focused on. One was to hold an exceptional event at the Expo. And the second was to leave behind a meaningful legacy for the people in Dubai and in the UAE. So we've always focused on the future or what happens after the Expo from the start. We will be repurposing the assets from the Expo for the purpose of District 2020. And at District 2020, we will continue to carry Expo's commitments to both innovation and entrepreneurship in District 2020. So when you really look at District 2020, it's in essence going to be a curated innovation ecosystem and community where we will attract both international and local partners that focus on 4 specific industries. We will be looking at smart cities, logistics, mobility, and digital healthcare. We will also focus on all technologies that support these 4 industries. But if you think about what we're doing, in essence, all our efforts towards innovation and our focus in District 2020 revolves around those 4 industries. Aside from being a place to work and hold business, District 2020 is also, as we said, a mixed-use development. So we also are a place to live and play. And our approach towards that is ensuring that we're a human-centric smart city where our community will really get to enjoy life at District 2020 as well. We know entrepreneurs lead a really busy lifestyle. And so we wanted to make sure that District 2020 also looks at what they do after work. We're actually the Middle East's first well community pilot project. And that basically means we're a community that promotes a lifestyle of wellness. as a result of us having 45,000 square kilometers of green areas and parks, square meters of greenery and parks, 10 kilometers of biking path, 5 kilometers of jogging path. So we're really looking at the wellness aspect in our community as well.
Wow, sounds like a dream. Sounds like a theme park.
Well, we're really trying to make sure that we build District 2020 with a balance of, work and kind of life and wellness. And something really exciting that I just want to add as well is within this whole ethos and focus that we have of innovation, we will also have an urban living lab at District 2020, where our stakeholders and community can kind of plug and play into our infrastructure, pilot and test projects together. And I'll be excited to expand more on that point later on.
Yeah, and before we go there, I think the theme of innovation is being always kind of a front and center for the Expo. Every time that I've been reading about the plans and the focus, the angle of innovation is obviously high in the priority, and that also shows into some of the data that we gather in the report that we're launching for the Scale Up Summit, MENA, where it's clear that that very part of the MENA region, so Dubai and the surroundings, is so centric in attracting interesting startups and scale-ups around the world. And some are local and some are actually, just focusing into Dubai as the center of the region. So I feel that has always been a very proactive effort to make of the that area of the world as a new hub for future developments. And so can you tell us maybe some other explicit areas of the Expo where innovation is at the core in terms of a specific maybe pavilions, or if there's an area during the Expo where specific startups are showcased?
Sure. Innovation has really always been at the heart of World Expos, as you said. It's been an event where countries, get together and showcase the innovations that they've come up with, and they tend to exchange knowledge and learning, which then helps drive more innovation after the Expo as well. So innovation is really going to happen across the entire Expo 2020 site. Countries are going to bring their innovations and visions. We're going to have events and talks that revolve around topics which relate to innovation, technology, knowledge sharing. We have thematic weeks where different topics and innovation around those topics will be discussed at the Expo. So all of this will be innovation is really at the heart of what we do, both at Expo 2020 and also at District 2020 as well in the legacy, where we will focus on innovation in the sectors that I mentioned that we will be looking into. The innovation ecosystem that we're developing at District 2020 is really what makes us different from all the other free zones, in the UAE. And that's because we're focusing on innovating in specific industries that we're targeting. And attracting startups, obviously, who really are the engines behind all the innovation that happen.
So let's be proactive. So some of our audience is CEOs of scale-ups around the world, because that's what we attract during our ecosystem. So tell us, what is the process of selecting what's in the offering for the startups that you plan to host?
So at District 2020, we're curating a community of innovators from countries all over the world. We are attracting international partners who are Fortune 500 companies, academic institutes, R&D centers, and labs, many of which have an interest in setting up in Dubai, especially, bringing together their MENA presence in Dubai itself because of Dubai's competitive location and advantage when it comes to ease of doing business, which we rank as the 11th globally on that, on that indices. In terms of attracting, I would say, startups and small businesses, this is where District 2020 set up a global entrepreneur program, which we're calling Scale to Dubai. And that's because we noticed that most programs globally focus on helping turn an idea into an MVP or to start a product, but less than 1% of programs actually help businesses scale. So we wanted to address that gap for the region, offer the program called Scale to Dubai. So if you are a startup or small business who's already done well back home and now wants to open up a second branch internationally, Scale to Dubai is the program for you. We help you soft land into the Dubai market at District 2020. You would need to either contribute to the 4 industries that we focus on, which was smart cities, smart logistics, mobility, and digital healthcare, or provide a technology that supports these industries. In terms of the stage, your business would in essence be a Series A or seed stage business that's focusing on those industries. What you will get through the Scale to Dubai program is many benefits. So we help you soft land into District 2020. We give you 2 years of free working space, 2 years of visa, business setup, access to our community, a lot of events. And the good news is it's an equity-free program, so we will not be taking any stakes out of your business. You will be with us for 2 years. And then once the program is over, we incentivize you to stay as part of our community at District 2020 as a regular tenant thereafter.
So as you know, I mean, that's a perfect fit for our Scale Up Summit that we have, obviously the one in MENA, but also the future ones that we run around the world. Is there a deadline for the application? Is there recurrent? Do you have multiple batches?
Sure, yes. So District 2020 plans to basically welcome cohorts through Scale to Dubai every year. The first cohort, we are going to start the evaluation process for at the World Expo. So if you go to the District 2020 website, www.district2020.ae, and click on the Scale to Dubai tab, you can express your interest in learning more about the Scale to Dubai program from today. We will start the detailed application process this September and then have a panel of technical judges who are there at the World Expo to evaluate all the applications that we received so that we announce the winners on the global stage at the World Expo just before we close off the event in March 2022. And then all the winners from that cohort, which would be around 80 to 100 scale-ups, will come and join us in District 2020 and be there with us from the first day we open up our doors. And then every year following, we will be bringing on 80 to 100 scale-ups through the Scale to Dubai program thereafter.
So the idea is that every batch is there to stay for 2 years, and then they will be overlapping with the following batches. I think I was having a look at the website. It also says that you're offering 2 years of subsidized urban living.
Mm-hmm. So that's one of the other benefits of the Scale to Dubai program. If the scale-ups would like to live at District 2020 itself, then they will get a subsidized rate to be part of the community and live there, which will happen on a first-come, first-served basis for that space.
How many people do you think that will be able to live there after the expo in terms of size of the spaces?
Well, we've still got that program which we're approaching from a first come, first serve. So we do have the capacity. We're a huge community. Like I said, it's like 160 football fields in size. So we will be in a position to cater to the appetite of most scale-ups that want to be based in District. We're also very close to another area in Dubai, which has other residential areas if they prefer to live elsewhere. So we're well connected in both areas.
One of the key points of the value proposition there is obviously to be part of a wider ecosystems where also other major players or corporates and accelerators and stakeholders in general of the innovation economy will be hosted. Who else do you expect to have there, and what is the process for these other actors?
Sure, I'm really glad you asked that question. So even though District 2020 opens up in another year and a half, we've already managed to sign on some really exciting partners. So Siemens will be bringing its logistic headquarters from Munich into District 2020 and will be there for 10 years. Siemens Energy offices will also be part of our community. Terminus, which is an amazing robotics company from China, are opening their first international branch at District 2020. And DP World, one of the leading port authorities globally, is actually setting up a logistics institute at District. And we've got many more exciting deals in the pipeline, but obviously I can't say so much until we've signed on. So do stay tuned. For the Scale to Dubai program specifically, we've already signed the Dubai SME Authority, which will be helping all the scale-ups that are visiting us and being part of our community to really help them kind of navigate in the UAE market and in Dubai. So they'll be providing that guidance. The Mohammed bin Rashid Innovation Fund, who are also our partners for the Scale to Dubai program, will be giving them access to funding when they want to raise, for funds. And we've signed on quite a few exciting international partners who are accelerators and departments of trade and chambers from, I would say, almost every continent. And that news will be announced over the next 10 days. So stay tuned for that announcement as well.
And so, as you know, I mean, we deal with dozens of global 500 companies in the innovation space. How do you pitch some of those companies? I guess that all those conversations are, on a separate track. But if you need to suggest who is the right counterpart of companies, global companies that actually are considering MENA region in general to be more of a hub for their innovation endeavors, who is your counterpart that you would like to talk to?
We do take those conversations individually with different companies, but ideally it would be all the Fortune 500 companies, labs and accelerators, and R&D centers that focus on our 4 industries. So if you are a leader in smart cities, mobility, logistics, digital healthcare, or technology like IoT, AI, Internet of Things, all the technologies that are deep tech and help those industries that we focus on, we would love to have a conversation with you. Reach out to us through Scale to Dubai Partners at expo2020.ae, and we can really take that conversation forward and welcome you into our innovation ecosystem. And you will be able to take advantage of the Urban Lab I mentioned earlier. So as a huge corporation, you would be able to collaborate with the 100 startups and scale-ups that we're bringing in the Scale to Dubai program, use our Urban Lab to pilot and test innovations and technologies together. And that's one of the reasons why we are being chosen as the space for companies to come and set up it.
How do you measure your internal success, right? If you have to set out some KPIs on the success of Scale to Dubai, what are you guys envisioning internally?
So obviously we still haven't opened up as District 2020, but I think one of the things we would focus on really is, creating deal flow for those scale-ups and then having them continue to remain in Dubai after the program is over. Our goal is to contribute not only to the Dubai economy, but to helping those businesses overall scale, grow, to give them that support that they need to open a branch outside their home countries so that their businesses can start expanding internationally. So for me, I think that's the ultimate goal that we'd be looking at. How many businesses did we help scale? How many of them managed to plant their roots in the Dubai economy and market and decided to continue with us after that journey? So those would be some of the areas for Scale to Dubai.
And finally, the impact on the Dubai economy, right? We're all looking at innovations and the new waves of new potential business models as an opportunity also to diversify the economy in general. What's the vision? What's the grand vision in Dubai about this? Obviously, those 4 areas that you're highlighted are key to the plan and to the development. But is there any specific sub areas that you think is particularly exciting for the country now looking ahead?
Sure. I mean, Dubai has a 2030 vision and a 2071 vision where we look at how we diversify the economy, how we will become a knowledge-based economy that really drives innovation and lifelong learning. And this is how I believe District 2020 will contribute to that vision. We looked at what are the industries that Dubai is already strong at, and we want Dubai to continue remain competitive in. And that's why we chose logistics and smart cities, for example, in District 2020. Dubai is already the 3rd globally when it comes to logistics. We want Dubai to remain competitive in that space, which is why our innovation ecosystem will continue to focus on that. to bring global talent to help us continue in that domain, as well as Dubai's outlook. Dubai is usually associated with being a futuristic city. So our focus on smart cities and technologies will help us really bring talent and the right partners to help us continue that journey and keep Dubai competitive in those areas.
So I think you're up to a huge project and opportunities, and also visibility for beautiful areas. And so we're really looking forward to meet the rest of the ecosystems and bring some of our international ecosystem, at least to start with, virtually there in the next few weeks and few days. But on top of that, we really look forward to come there and visit all the beauties that you're building and the Expo and the post-Expo. So with that, we wish you all the best. Congratulations on the endeavors, and we're really looking forward to see you in person.
Thank you so much for having me. And to all the viewers, we would love to see how we could collaborate with you, whether you're startups through the Scale to Dubai program or whether you're accelerators and corporates. Do reach out to us. And thank you so much for having us again. Thanks.
Bye, Tala. Bye.
Bye-bye.